disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do the Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulaiman Rahim here, mention of the covenant, break our 7 seals. Take note of this, brothers and sisters, because anybody that's got an open mind, just, they do it every week. They distort scriptures, they jump over scriptures, they play with scriptures. Oh, the Bible is corrupt. Well, then you shouldn't be talking about it at all. Or the piece that you like is okay, the piece you don't like is not okay. It tells you that. And in fact, they say, oh, you got to go to the Quran. The Quran actually says you have to believe what was revealed to you and what was revealed before you. So you have to believe in the Bible. So why would God tell you to believe in a book that's corrupt? He can't protect his own book. You got bad translations out there, but the book itself is not corrupt. We don't jump over verses and say, well, that verse, you don't hear me doing that. So, well, this verse is corrupt. No. I answer every verse in there. And Angel Key explains every verse in there. Now, there's some bad translations, right? But they have a transliteral. So I use transliteral because transliteral says, okay, instead of going, you can do the same thing with the Quran. Instead of going, because King James Version is pretty much what they thought it meant, and then they write it down. What they thought the word meant, then they write, what this verse was conveying, and that's what they wrote down. But transliteral just says, look at a word and translate to the next language. And Jehovah's Witnesses have an excellent transliteral. So they throw Jehovah in there. But Jehovah is, that's another story altogether. That's the name they made up. See? That's the name they made up. Because it's not that they don't know what the word, they actually don't know what they're saying. And the bottom line is just to make it short. They went, I think, was Yahweh, is Y-H-W, I forget. Something like that, I forget how you spell it. But the point is that in so-called Hebrew, right, they didn't put so you got the same thing in Arabic. When you know Arabic, they take the vowels out. Because you don't have a situation in Arabic like train and train, right? Two same words mean two different things. You don't have that in Arabic. So they take the vowels, so you don't have to worry about it, so take the vowels out. And so when you're learning, okay, but once you native speaker, the vowels not there. And so the same thing they had in Hebrew. And so they had, and the name of God, only people knew was the high priest. The normal public didn't have that name. It was supposed to be a holy name. And so now Jehovah's Witnesses got a holy name and says, well, and they're guessing where the vowel should be. They're guessing where the vowel should be. That's why they come with Jehovah. They don't know what they could be saying something terrible. So check it out. Don't take my word for it. See, because the thing is that they translate also from the Aramaic, and Aramaic is a sister language to Arabic, like American English is a sister language to British English, right? In Aramaic, the only way you can say God is Allah. It's just a translation. That's how you say God in Arabic, Allah. Like what I think it's Sabado or something like that there, Domingo in Spanish. The thing is, they don't translate it. That's how they play the game, right? See, so in other words, instead of saying just God, they say, well, Allah, so they may, I missed some other God. That's just where you say God. You understand? So, Jehovah's Witness couldn't we run around trying to call himself Allah Witness. That wouldn't have worked. So they made up this thing and said Jehovah's Witness. Because if you go to language, right, the word would be Allah. And they couldn't go around to we're Allah's witnesses. That wouldn't have worked. So they said Jehovah's Witnesses. I mean, that's their game, right? But they distort stuff too. Because they don't give you God. It clearly says God has woolly hair and dark skin. Well, they got a white guy up there with Jerry curl. And these guys here, all of them, Wesley supposed to be a PhD, and they distort scriptures. And they can't find one. I'll say it again. I posted. I'll give $1,000 to anybody can show me that Farrakhan is faithful to Elijah's teachings and supreme wisdom. No questions asked. And I've been doing it for years. Nobody's upstairs. I actually published it. Right? I'm just saying now. I was going to publish it today again, but I forgot. Right? But I'm saying it now. They can't do it. They call me names. They're aware of me, but they don't step up and do that because they can't, and they don't want to draw attention to me because other people see and they'll like I mean, you're in darkness with light. Light and darkness are two different things. If you've been in darkness in your life, see light, you're gonna run to the light. If you've been in darkness all your life, and all you know is darkness, you never seen light, and you see light, you're gonna run to the light. And that's what says exactly what's about to happen. Because they're seeking the message of the covenant. And it says, and as soon as that war starts, right, they're gonna come running to the message of the covenant. Read Mark. They're going to step on Farrakhan, run, step all over him, get into messing with covenant. Okay? But that is clear. It tells you right there. It says, there's the God. It's four characters in there. There's the God. He raised Elijah. Elijah was prepared to wait for the messing of the covenant. And then there's somebody who's robbing the nation. Now, the people that's seeking the message, say, be seeking the message of the covenant, they'll be seeking why Elijah's there because they got Elijah. They'll be in Elijah's absence. Because Elijah's praying away from somebody, he'll be around, another person comes. If God set up Elijah, that means he's going to stick around, he's gone. He said, but Elijah's do it. Elijah's praying away for the message of the covenant. That means, he won't be here, but the people be seeking, because they won't, while Elijah's here, they won't be seeking anything. But now Farrakhan, he's the one that's robbing the nation. I mean, it's clear. Elijah didn't rob the nation. Master Muhammad said, this nation, so it's clear. They're talking about the nation. They're talking about the temple. They say things, they're talking about the nation of Islam. They ain't say mosques. They ain't say churches. They say temple. They say nation. Use those words so they're talking about the nation of Islam. And so, he says he's robbing this nation. Now he's a multimillionaire and his dumbass son's a multimillionaire. Right? We don't have any business saying things. How do you do that? But the nation is poor. Has nothing. And then the message of the covenant. He's the one that will come and clean up. Why do you have to clean up? He had to clean up Farrakhan's mess. Why do you got to clean up stuff? You don't have to clean up Elijah's mess. You have to clean up Master Rodman's mess. You have to clean up Farrakhan's mess. And he's the one that takes people home. Anyway, more brothers and sisters. And I'm going to go through this quickly. The derivative reality. Now, I'm not just saying that. See, like I said, when I think about it, I'm not sure I really went to this level of mathematics. Because I never got there before what, this week? I kind of slipped and slipped. So I said, well, I might as well speak to it. I was talking about something else, I kind of let it get out, right? Because I never talked about it like this. Because calculus, I say Islam is mathematics Islam, so calculus must be part of Islam, and it must be a more complex side of it, more detailed. And getting calculus all about derivatives. I mean, it's also about integrals. I just talk about derivatives in this sense. Because you have add, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. We have derivatives and integrals. I'm not going to integrals. I'm talking derivatives because it's more simple to understand and relate to your life. And the thing is that I'm not sure if I should talk about it that much because I don't think anybody really understands it. But derivatives is just going up and down dimension, and everything in creation is part of a dimension. I know you don't see it that way, but it's true. It's true. Right now, if you walk around your room, you walk around third dimension. If you're stuck within the floor, moving around in the floor, right, then you're stuck in second dimension. If you're just going online in the corner, you're stuck in first dimension. If you're just in a point, you're stuck in zero dimension. And you don't know about the other dimensions. If you're in the zero dimension, you know nothing about any other dimension. And if you're in third dimension, you look down and see all other dimensions. If you're second dimension, you look down and see other dimensions. You can't see a third dimension. You can't see upward. Only see downward. That's just the way it is. And so the universe universe is not fourth dimensional, it's three dimensional. But because of energy deprivation, we didn't have enough energy to maintain third dimension. It's like, you stand up in a room and all of a sudden you get squashed down to a ink spot. Right? And maybe you still might be alive, and you may have all your heart and everything else, but it's all turned down to second dimension. So now you sliding along the floor. That's all you know. You don't know about the room up. You can't see up the room anymore. It's down there. You sliding around the floor. So you reduce the second dimension. Okay? And that's happened. You don't have enough energy to rise back up again. You had ability, but you just don't have the energy to do it. And that's where we are right now. We got to reduce to the second dimension. Because of energy deprivation. And now we're being energized again, so we start moving to third dimension. But while we was in second dimension, we made a being that, I think I said it right this time. It says they have the the image of God without the substance. That's what I'm saying. They have an image of God without having the substance. I'm probably still not saying it right. Right? Talking about the devils. They look like us, they don't have the substance because they're two-dimensional. They're a two-dimensional representation of us. They grafted is moving down into another dimension. And so they have power over this dimension because their reality is a second dimension. They don't know about the third dimension. Their reality is a second dimension. And we stuck in it with them. But we're three-dimensional people. And we don't even know it at this point. But now being energized, right? And says, through my first born from the dead ones, he first one recognizes third dimension and start growing in that direction. Because that's why they couldn't understand the angel, because the angel, the Bible is a derivative of the angel. The sealed Bible is a derivative of it. That's why people, they can't understand it. Because they can't understand the angel, they don't understand derivative. But when you break those seals, right? Because the angel is really three-dimensional. So it's sitting there, but nobody could see it, nobody could understand it, anything, because everybody was two-dimensional minds. They took our minds away, give us two-dimensional minds, so they didn't know it was anything. I don't even know anybody was trying to break the seals. I never paid. I'm not sure if I know what seal. I came across by accident, but. And they said he would break those seals, and he start moving to the third dimension. And then he said he first would have born the dead one, then start inspiring our people and show them, apply your energy towards growth, apply your energy towards yourself, and then you start developing. But if you don't, you keep going after American dreamers in second dimension. Remember, American dream is two-dimensional because it's coming out of the minds of two-dimensional people. So you keep going for that. I'm going to go to car, the mortgage, all that kind of stuff. Then use energy for that. You know, energy for growth. So then you're stuck in the second dimension where you're really a third-dimensional person. And he's trying to tell you, no, apply your energy towards the third dimension in this way, and then all of a sudden you start coming away to the third dimension, which is the angel. You can't see the angel unless you're in the third dimension. And you start seeing it, and you start growing third dimension. When you get third dimension, second dimension has no power for you whatsoever, not zero. They say no weapon conceived or whatever would prevail against you. Right? So they have no control of you whatsoever. They can't touch you. Because you're in the third dimension. You can see them, they can't see you. So let's go on, boss. Let's see. If you do anything about calculus, this is a cube, has an area, has space, right? Volume. The derivative of volume is areas. A flat plane, that's the derivative of it. That's just the way it works. So we were here, but now we reduced to this. And we moved around back and forth in this. We don't know about up. When we start growing up, then we start growing this area. But the devils, was created in haste in this area. In haste, no depth. This is a very tricky way to use that word, right? So they stuck in this area, and they don't know it. They don't even know this. They don't know this exists. And they tell me, they said something out there. They don't have an idea. And Christianity has no connection to reality at all. Nothing. Christianity has no. Religions was their desire after we started having energy deprivation, was an attempt to, because as before energy deprivation we had full knowledge universe. We understand universe mathematical. We spoke the mathematical language. Arabic is the mathematical language. It's just the grammar of it. It's the grammar. We spoke Arabic. We spoke mathematical language, right? So we knew how the universe worked. We prepared it. Make our own agreement plan with God universe. So we know how the universe works. We out there. Who's out there? Let me say this a little down. Move on. I'm about to spend 3 hours here where I'm going right now. And they may have seen this already. Because light, say you got a star there that's 100 light years away. 100 light year means a light year is how long it takes light to travel a year. That's what they call light years. Because easier to talk since the speeds and everything such large numbers, they say light years. So light years, how long it takes light, 186,000 miles per second, how much distance covered in 1 year. It's light year. But say you got a star 10 light years away. Then it take 10 years to get here. So it's 1,000 light years away. Right? It takes 1,000 years to get here. Right? 1,000 light years. Some stars that far away. So when you look out there at night, see, now you don't see it anymore. See, you know something wrong with the skies, because I remember when I was a child, you look up there, you see like diamonds, sparkling diamonds all over New Jersey. Newark, New Jersey. You at night, you lit up. But I haven't seen stars in so long, I don't even know if they exist anymore. You don't see it anymore. So what happened to the sky? What happened to the light? What happened to the sky? But it was very clear. Okay. So, when you look up there, even if you can see it, you see the light, the universe, the stars out there. That's not the way you look right now. That may be the way you looked 10,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, because light just got here. But that light came from that star 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, and just not getting here. So as you look, you're really looking back in time, how it was back there, right? But see, the thing is we were out there 50,000 years ago. Who was out there? Traveling all over the universe. We put the stars out. We built planets. There's trillions of planets out there. They tell you we will occupy all the planets. The scripture tell you we'll occupy all the planets. So your life, your seed would be as the sand of the sea, which there's nowhere in the world Earth could accommodate that much life. You're talking about trillion. The Earth could accommodate. Right now, it's billions, and it's getting tight. Right? Elijah Muhammad told you that also. Right? So in other words, so you had people out there 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago moving around. Master Muhammad, remember he was taught. He was taught, his father taught him. He was not self-guided. They try to say he's the Mahdi. If the Mahdi was self-guided, it was not him. He was taught by his father. Elijah Muhammad told you that. Then it would be self-guided, it would be the messenger of the covenant, because he wasn't taught. Elijah Muhammad taught him the history of but he wasn't taught the angel. It tells you right there, nobody was able to break those seals in heaven, earth, God, nobody, just him. So who's taught him if nobody ever able to do it by himself? And that's the base of his knowledge. Because the angel gives a full comprehensive knowledge of how everything works. But you got to understand the math in it, because it's a mathematical book. You just don't understand how to read it mathematically. And I do. Okay. So when you go and study, it tells you, explain everything. I'm going to tell you about mathematics and everything. It even tell you about derivatives and calculus. The way it talks, you understand it. But you don't understand that that's what it's talking about. Okay. So, and the ship, the engine that Master Muhammad used, remember it takes a certain engine. I call it a proton engine. I'm not going any further than that. Right? It's a proton engine. And the engine he used, he didn't build that. He was told, well, a lot of stuff we hid. The Quran tells you a lot of stuff we hid. The scientists knew it, told him where to go get it at. He built the rest of it off the coast of Japan. But the engine that drives that thing is a special engine that can defy gravity and everything. Okay. So they just told him where this engine was. Remember, the scientists, the father went and got his own, the father was a scientist, he went and got his own information from other scientists. He said he paid him large amounts of money for their knowledge. And then he gave all that knowledge to Master Muhammad, who Elijah Muhammad says is a made God. That's what he said. He said even the original gods are more powerful than Master Muhammad. And this is Elijah Muhammad's words. Right? So I'm not going to, look, I don't represent Elijah Muhammad. Let me make that clear. Elijah Muhammad didn't represent Prophet Muhammad. And that's interesting, you know, because I saw this thing the other day, this guy, he's over in the Middle East, all of a sudden they try to explain what's going on. We probably explained before. But he's saying, Prophet Muhammad, he's the last prophet, right? And then he's talking about, yeah, but Jesus supposed to come back, and he come back with democracy. He's a prophet. You see how dumb that shit is? He just said, Prophet Muhammad's the last prophet. Now, he just said Jesus is a prophet. Well, I mean, see, when they say, like, if the Quran wanted to say Prophet Muhammad's the last prophet, it said last prophet. He says he's the seal of the prophets. So you interpret his last prophet. That's your problem. People with Moses said Moses the last prophet. Everybody always say that person the last one. Moses the last one. They didn't want Jesus because Moses the last one. They didn't want Jesus. They didn't want Muhammad because Jesus was the last one. They didn't want Muhammad because they want Elijah because Muhammad's the last one. I mean, come on with bullshit. Anyway, so they look out there, and you got power from the telescope. And remember, you're looking back in the past. And they may have already seen this. They may have already seen it. They may have already seen us flying around 50,000 years ago, 100,000. They may have already seen us flying around there. They may not recognize what it is. They saw something moving around. They do say things they moving around. They don't know what it is. They don't know if it's real or asteroid or what. They do see things moving around. Because we move at the speed of light. If we did the speed of light, we couldn't get anywhere. We move at the speed of thought, 24 billion miles per second. That's what Master Muhammad was talking about. 24 billion miles per second. See, we're not limited by the speed of light. That's Einstein's crap. Right? 24 billion miles per second. So we can travel to stars like going on vacation. Some of these stars we get to in a couple of hours. Planets are weird. What do you think we was doing for the last 72 trillion years? So our ass scratching our ass? We was preparing all of this. It tells you in the script we prepared all this. It's prepared. And so once we combine information, see, we built 7 trillion years building it. Now we're going to 7 trillion years, it's a rest, right? 7 trillion years enjoying it. What we built. Now it's time to enjoy it. But we got to make sure we got a clean house. We can't have no devils and fools and ignorant people in our kingdom. It's got to be a clean kingdom because we don't want no trouble. That's why I said Suleiman would clean. He would make sure he cleaned his house. Perfect, sweep it clean. Demons and dummies and people like Ishmael and those. Oh. Now it's time to enjoy it. 72 trillion years of building it. 72, all the plans. Some of you listening right now, if you survive it, right, or your children, you be God's a planet. You be out there. You be right. And Earth, that's like Mecca, center. Right? People come, certain like certain events, whatever they have, they come here, but this would be the center. But there be planets all out there, all over the universe, trillions of them, trillions. Beautiful planets, beautiful. Okay, so let me. So I see them flying around there. They may not know see them, but if you look back, you see in the past. You see what you see out there. You're looking back 10,000 years, 100,000 years, million years, depending how far the stars you're looking at. And so I get a knowledge. I'm gonna go quickly with this, brothers and sisters. Here we are, three-dimensional. We move three-dimensional. Here's a sister, a brother, three-dimensional, right? We got to control the dimensional world, right? This one inside here, right? I'm showing the picture here. And then what happened? Energy deprivation, we got flatland. Now we're two-dimensional. In a two-dimensional world, and we made a two-dimensional man. See? Two-dimensional man. The rule of the two-dimensional world, because it's their world, not ours. Because we're two-dimensional, that's against us. That's mean we're really weak. But their strength is they want two-dimensional, so they're creating a two-dimensional world. They're grafted. That's what grafted is. They're derivatives. That's why animals given control, because they're a two-dimensional world. If you understand two-dimensional world, it's the derivative, and you find all the system, Christianity, capitalism, all that's is two-dimensional ideas. Two-dimensional ideas. Here after those, they said we're going to get rid of all that crap. They're stupid ideas, but they're two-dimensional ideas, and we're in a two-dimensional world right now. We move around a two-dimensional world, and they got control. Okay? Okay? I'm not saying, I'm just showing that's them, see? They sitting around, they enjoyed it, how they beating us. They sit around styling and everything else, look at us. Sister, mouthwash wound up, hit belt in chains. Okay? That's our life in a two-dimensional world. And then energy deprivation, it lasts 12,000 years altogether, but 6,000 years from top down to the bottom, extreme bottom, where we were in the 1860s, and now we're moving up. But this Adam's world is two-dimensional world, right? So we started to move up from it, right? But we're at the bottom of it. We were fully locked into the dimensional world, right? We're getting down to two-dimensional world. By the time we get here, we're fully locked into two-dimensional world. Everything taken away from us. We're totally two-dimensional. Our names, our religion, we got the devil's mind, everything else. And now we start moving up. But it takes 6,000 years before we move completely out of 6 trillion years. I mean, out of 6,000 year period of energy deprivation. Right? So we can't let the devils rule again because they just damn wicked. So we came and we made a derivative of God, Master Muhammad, right? His mother's the devil, right? So he's a derivative of God, a made God, right? He's not self-taught, right? And so he will rule the next 6,000 years. You understand? So one process is. Okay, I'm giving a little example here. I say, look at these different metals. Gold, silver, copper, brass, bronze. Right? Different metals. But the most precious gold, next is silver. Right? Let's see what that means. Now look at this. Africa is rich. Plenty of gold, plenty of silver. They said back in I don't know, 1300, something like that there. It was at probably Muhammad's time. They said there was one king in Africa. He made a pilgrimage in Mecca and said he had a mule train, 100 mules or whatever, totally packed with gold. He's one that made the biggest offering to Mecca anyway. And that was just awesome. What he had back. Africa's very rich until the devils came along. At any rate, I'm sure here how rich Africa is gold and silver, the Shabazz and Levites, right? Plenty of it. The land's wealthy, people wealthy. That means wealthy, they respect. They respect economically, mentally, physically. And then see Europe right there, right? Europe, just shit, the shithole. They don't produce anything. They don't produce anything anybody wants. Nobody was going to Europe to buy anything. There was nothing anybody wants. All they was fighting with each other all the time, disease, murder, rape. That was Europe was all about. That's the only thing they produce. If you dealt with them, you end up in a war or something. That's all they produce. Hell, wickedness. All they produce. Okay? If for 1,000 years they're locked down by the Prophet Muhammad's resurrected, Islamic Empire, which is chapter 20 of the Revelation, but they won't tell you that because then all of a sudden you figure out what's going on. That's not the future. That's the past. That's European history in the Dark Ages, 1,000-year Dark Ages. Okay, but while he was there, they didn't take baths. They had disease, and they didn't think it was right to take baths. There was disease, wicked. Constant fight with each other, constant wars. That's all they could do. They had nothing to produce. Remember, when they came out, called Marco Polo, remember? They went all over the world looking for knowledge. With China, learned about making plates, China plates, and about silk, and about explosions. Because Chinese didn't use it to explode anybody, they used it for fireworks. They used it to learn all that stuff. And then with Africa learned stuff, all over the place. They stole everything they got. They didn't know anything about this stuff. Because all they capable of doing was producing shit. Everything they got from somebody else. Right? And we naturally produce gold and silver. Same energy they have, but we produce gold and silver, they produce shit. And then what? You see that? Then they moved from there to America. They found America. So they brought that shit to America. Disease, smallpox, fighting, genocide. They brought that same shit to America. You understand, bro? They brought that shit, man. And then what? See, just because that's all they make doesn't mean it's what they want. Because remember, they left out Europe to about, they look for gold. El Dorado was like, that's what I think what they call those, not the Mayans, maybe the Mayans. Aztecs or whatever. They took, get rid of these devils, and they came and said, hey man, no, hey, it's gold, go further west. Get them out of here. Because they stink and take baths and everything else. Because they went looking for stuff, so they were so good. Europe was so great and prosperous and dynamic, and everything. Why did they go all looking for stuff from every place else? They're looking for stuff. Looking for gold, some like conquest stores and stuff. You understand, brothers and sisters? These things are very clear. See, because they can't, the fact that they can only make shit, that don't mean they like smelling shit. They like finer things, they just can't produce it. Nobody was going to Europe to buy anything. That it can't happen really until America started. And what did they? Put shit here. And then what they did, they wanted gold and silver, so they bought us. They brought us over here to the land, right? Here, shit place where we produce gold and silver, and they give us the shit. They take gold and silver. That's the idea, but you don't see it that way, because they make sure you don't see it that way ever. Okay, let's speak to this, brothers and sisters. But I'm sure you, this is gold, this is American in the background, covered with gold, covered with shit. You got it, gold and silver. And that's us here. And you got both of us singing. They sing because they're so happy they got us here. And we singing because we're happy to be here. You know, because they don't want you to know your history of everything. But they did your parents and everything else. So they got us singing in our own captivity. Man was beating himself, right? Remember Mark? What happened? They had the shit with gold and silver. Is there something wrong here? What happened here? Okay, got a little technical issue again. I tell you about sister. Ooh. Oh, that's what that is. So here, so what happens is, you have to go, and that's going to happen. That's about to happen and they reduce it just shit. We don't have us the ideas anymore. We're creative. They claim to still have us to keep producing gold for them because we're not going to do it for them, do it for ourselves. And all they got is shit, nobody's buying it. All right, here we go. Okay, that's a quick vector right. Now that's us. We're going upright direction. Now that was their vectors. We're vectors too, going right direction, but they're derivatives. Right? Yeah. So they hit us. That means we're going to change our trajectory, because we like move down the top, moving down the road 100 miles an hour, and you get 100 mile an hour western wind. That's swerving towards the west. What's that? Is that yours or the wind's fault? See what I'm saying? Move along, and all of a sudden you hit by a different nature person. Here you are, and then this is one of the derivative people. Now you're going this direction. Going after one. Whose fault is that? Farrakhan. It's their fault. He's blaming you. You're so wicked, so terrible. No, they brought us over here, and if we wicked and tone, that means because of what they did to us. It means they're the real wicked ones. See? But that's the effect of having us hoes and prostitutes and junkies and right, pound abusive. Well, that's because it's them. One boss says, see, if you look at mathematics kind of way, it just blows him away. But some is wait till you get until you self emulate. But no, math farmers not going to wait for that. We'll talk about apocalypse, bosses. Apocalypse is a global conflagration. A global conflagration. Armageddon is just a local. It's a European war. East and West is European war. But apocalypse is the whole overall. Armageddon is just a phase of it. Just a phase of it. You understand, bosses? So we're talking about apocalypse, the whole, in general. I'm not going to go into specific, but in general, whole picture. Now see here, so an angel, we got a key in angel. We don't recognize the key, but it says one's like a lion here, has 6 wings. One like a calf, 6 wings. One like an eagle, 6 wings. One like a face man, 6 wings. And one, 7 spirits. So right away, I should tell you something. Right? Because here's a line. Now I'm not sure that here, right? But the top, one of these is this line part. The gold. The gold is so like in here. So it's Islamic part. Because this population, but the top third is the Islamic part. Got that? So the angel, when I understand the angel. Now, I'm not showing that in detail, but I kind of like, I wanted to get this out, brother and sister. It took me a while to kind of be very detailed about this. But these are golden. These are golden. But sometimes they're white, but they're also called golden, right? Okay. And the original nation, they're all gold, except they got corrupted by rape and everything else, so now you only got the top that's gold. They're the ones going out here when the Suleiman goes out. Okay, so this is gold. So the thing is, it says that Aaron would have people worship the golden calf. But see, this represents Africa, the lion. This represents Asia. This represents Orient. And this represents, right, America. Right? Okay. not America, excuse me, the original nation. I don't know how I said that. Represents the original nation. This represents Asia. This represents Africa, right? Face of man. I mean, Orient. This represents Europeans. Right? It's corrupted now because of whatever, but it came was all gold initially. That's where it shows the angel. So we're talking about here. Now this is Asia, right? The top part is the Islamic part. That's what I said. So it's the Islamic part of Asia. The Sunnis. Right? And remember, this one here is called a calf. So that means this would be called the golden calf, Sunnism. See, Aaron had worshipped the Sunnism, the golden calf, because you know what the golden calf was. You've been guessing. You know what it was, and I'm telling you, it just tells you clearly. They're the golden calf, the Sunnism. Farrakhan have you worship Sunnism. Let's move on. And then this is also the key. It says two major formats key can contain. You still have all the nations there, but it has under control of the European nations. That's the point, because they control the European nations, right? And so if you go through it, you see, well, let's look at Britain here. This Magog, Britain. Well, what they had control, domination over Asian nations, India, Arabia. That's coincidence. They say Africa, the land lion, they control colonized Africa. Oh, see how beautiful this key is? And then you go over here and you say, look at America, but they got us. The Orient right here, right? That's Russia. So what Russia don't have? Yes, they do. Ideologically, communism. Each one has a different phase, like they got us in captivity, right? And colonization for Africa. So each one has a different aspect. And it tells you right here that since that false Israel is the God sitting on the throne. They say, you God is world. There it is. He's the God sitting on the throne. He had the book. The Islam took the book from him, but he had the book, but they didn't know the book. Remember, no one's heaven and earth could understand the book. He had it. He took it from him, his hand, right? But they couldn't figure it out because they're two-dimensional. They couldn't figure it out. That's why it was this. So it takes a third-dimensional person to do it. The first third-dimensional person, this time frame will be the lamb. He will be able to see it. Okay. And another thing, if you look at this 6 wings, 6 wings, 6 wings, 6 wings, right? What else are 24 elders? See, like Muhammad said there were 24 scientists. Well, he was guessing because he didn't break the seal, so he don't know what it means. He's guessing. No, that's 24 elders. They throw their crowns down, their golden crowns, right? Because remember, these are actually gold too. You throw them down here, that's JCPOA, that's all stored together. Right, let's move on. Here's the key again. It has two forms. Why I just show you this? So right now, where the key right now is set up to show you what's happening right now. America, Britain, Gog and Magog, and Antichrist, they have control of the Middle East. They dominate it. So Iran and Syria has been kicked down. We read chapter 12, I believe it is. Right? They talk about JCPOA, to be on the for the nations mean, right? That's the UN, and the UN control, if you understand anyway. This is right now, so American Britain, right here, where you see American Britain, that's the Middle East. Okay? But Iran and Syria has been cast down, so American Britain, and they control the Middle East right now. American Britain and false Israel. Okay, so what happened? Okay. And then war takes place, because right now they're pushing against them. War takes place in Iran and Syria. The Shia are victorious. Same times when Suleiman comes to NOI, they actually come to him, right? There's people sitting dark, but they dark because this cast is black. It's a great light. Understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? So now, Ancient of Days or Suleiman is there. This gospel being preached to all the world at that time, no resistance to it. Hmm? The pressure's still increasing. And they may try to slow down, but it doesn't really work. So anyway, they get kicked out. And once they get kicked out, right, Iran kicks them out. His base and everything else, they run with their ass on fire out. And what do? They attack black folks. Because the false Israel will sit there, they destroy our vision. Make sure we have the people, our vision perish. That's the only reason. That's why they say, why they keep supporting it? Because the other thing is, otherwise, if they don't, and we realize we're true Abraham, we might come together and they might have trouble with us. So now Iran was on top, America's cast down, and they went in the original place. Right? And then what happens? And that's when they attack all blacks. Because now you know the forces is about to go down, and so they can't claim that they God's chosen people anymore, so we must be. If we must be, we might come together, attack them, and leave out of here. Anyway, let's move on, brothers and sisters. And forces was taken out. It was on the siege, and that's gone. It's gone. It's taken out. Right? Then what happens? Now these serpents are also called winds. For winds blow. That happens, that's the resurrection takes place. There's a resurrection. But see, they got colors to them. Especially at Farrakhan, he's, right? They're all separated, they're all brought together, all blacks brought together, and then separation takes place. So they gather them all together, gather chaff as wheat, just as well as the chaff, right? And then you separate it, throw the wheat to the barn and chaff to the fire. What's happening here? The resurrection took place, but these are also called the four winds. Those serpents also called the four winds. So four winds blow, the resurrection takes place, right? So we got demons there, as well as the original. What happens? So that's resurrection takes place. Then what happens? Then separation takes place. That's what it said. Moses came to camp, saw with the Lord, separated them. They said they wanted to go. The leader said, I want to go with the demons. I want to go with the devils, the swine. So now he's down there with swine daddies. So it doesn't mean that she'll come here. That's just another way of saying that that's when we depart. Remember, the lamb departs with the elect. And then what's left has to go to tribulation. Some everlasting life, some everlasting apartment. That's what's happening here. So now it's a demon war going on here. It's also the Armageddon war going on here, going over in Europe. Because, like I said, when they were just fleeing, when it was under attack, fleeing to Europe or wherever else. That's the last place to flee to. It's going to be really bad in America, but it's going to be bad in other places too. We understand, brothers and sisters. So now this is demon, this is the locust war down here. Oop, going the wrong way. Death of Legion. Farrakhan's greatest. Okay, bro, says watch this.
is getting the thing so that when he turns hypocrite on me, the whole world will see him. I'm telling you what he said. I died at the table. I mean, it's like he had taken a spoke and drove it right through my heart. I couldn't understand why he said it. I didn't know why he would say something like that to me. I was faithful to him in my own way, I thought. I was obedient to him in my own way, I thought. Why would he say that to me? It is because he knew tomorrow better than I knew yesterday. And I lived through yesterday and don't know what tomorrow is, but that man saw tomorrow. He was the most perfect guy that ever could come to a people, brother and sister. But we blew it, man, because we so hateful of our black selves that we didn't believe that God would dare take a black man and not only make him a messenger, but more than a messenger, deposit in the man himself and make a God out of him for you and me. Now listen, brother, I'm not playing here. That man Elijah Muhammad is the most profound individual you will ever meet. I don't give a doggone if you live to be a million. And those of us that walk with him in faithlessness, walk with him in doubt and in suspicion of his divinity, know it better now than we ever knew it while he was among us. We know it now. Look, and I say this with deep humility, man, it pains me to open myself up and see a hypocrite laying inside. How else can a man be healed unless he's opened up to the light and the thing that is in him that is not pleasing to God he removes? You understand? Now here's the messenger looking at me. And because Malcolm told me that the messenger was jealous, and members of the messenger's family had dropped it out that the messenger was jealous, I began to entertain the thought because I couldn't see the future. Now listen, I fought it off, but it was there. Hear this now, beloved. One day in New York, 70,000 people came out to hear the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is the largest gathering of black people, really, I think, in the history of our sojourn in America, to listen to a black man teach wisdom. And this ain't no play. I was so overjoyed, I went to the messenger, and I said to him, the apostle, there were 70,000 people. And back in, again, 3 months later, we did it again, and 40,000 came out on a Sunday afternoon to hear a lecture in Randall Valley. And you know, when I was so exultant, you may use the word cocky, you may use the word being self-centered, whatever you want to say. When God gives you success, you better learn how to handle it, or that thing will destroy you. And I didn't know how to handle what God was bringing to me. And I'm just being very frank and honest. And this is not negative, but it's so good to understand how merciful God is. He brings you up and show you the power that can come to you, but he knows you can't handle it. He'll drop you right back down and then bring you up in humility so that whatever he gives you, you'll be able to handle it well. Now look, beloved, when I was telling the messenger about this 70,000 and this 40,000, you know what he said to me? He got real sad, and he said, you know, brother, the time is coming when you may go to the temple, and there may not be one believer but yourself. I couldn't believe it. I said, we got 7,000 Muslims in New York. And here's 70,000 people out there reaching for his teaching. How could I go to the temple and there be no believer there? I didn't know what he knew. I didn't know at all, but he knew it all. Now let me say this and conclude this whole thing. Brothers and sisters, when they announced that the messenger was dead, and his son took the leadership, we all bowed to his son. I think it was a great show of respect for him that no war, no fighting broke out over who gonna be the leader, this, that, and the other. It was one of the most smooth transitions of any black organization in the history of America. But we, in submitting to him, we did not know what he had in his heart. No, we should have had some indication, since historically he had always been in rebellion against his father. But when we saw him standing with his father, we took it for granted he had overcome his difficulty with his daddy, and nothing was more pleasing to me than to see that son return to his father to help carry on his father's work. And even though the father, in truth, had told the people to listen to Farrakhan, yes he did, I didn't feel qualified to carry on the work. And when Wallace stood up, I said, okay, I will back him. And in sincerity, I backed him. But look at the pause now. The man started preaching against the 40 years work of his father. And the more he taught against his father, some of us went through it. And then some of the Muslims actually went into insane asylums. Some of the, yes, it's true. Some of the Muslims just couldn't handle it. Some Muslims walked out of that beautiful house on Stony Island, which rightfully belongs to you. See, it don't belong to hypocrites. It belongs to you. And one day it'll be again in your hands if it be the will of Allah. Look, brothers and sisters, the believers walked out. Some stayed there horrified and really petrified to hear a son say things like this against his own father, his own benefactor. Some of the Muslims believed it, took the flag down, took our uniforms off, sisters took off their robes, and to think now that this man who taught us for all these years, that he tricked us, is too much to bear. So some of the brothers went back in the street, picked up their reefer, and was selling reefer. Some of us went and picked up drugs, harder drugs, sold them. Some of us became pimps. Some of us went back and became worse than we were before we met Elijah. It's true. Some of the sisters went back to sweethearting with devils. Some of them had never gone with a devil, but decided I'll try it out. Some of the brothers had never laid with a white woman, decided I'll try it out. I mean, we went totally crazy, brother. They're just a handful that held on to the messenger, and they held on by a thread. Just a thread. Just look at what happened. Just look. Look at the comma. We're talking about a comma now. And what the comma means? The comma means a pause. Now the pause is here. Wallace has done his work, and he failed to destroy his father's name. He failed to destroy his father's reputation. And 4 years ago, this very month, I was awakened from my hypocrisy in getting the same. So that
I'm going to unpack this. First, let me show you something before I unpack that, brothers and sisters. Let me show you something. Make sure you understand this. Here. Now, what I'm showing you here is, this is about to happen. Let's back up a little bit. Okay, while the war's taking place here, while the war's taking place, America and Britain's thrown out, and they're going to be attacking us, blacks, all blacks. Because false Israel was going down, and false Israel was placed there to destroy our vision. Because Elijah Muhammad gave us a vision, a covenant, preparing the way for the message of the covenant. We're going home. That was a vision. We didn't have a vision before the prophet Elijah Muhammad. We didn't know what we were. We didn't know who was going before Elijah Muhammad. We didn't know what we were going to do, and he gave us a vision of going home. And when he talked to Martin Luther King, we had a picture. Martin Luther King went out the next day and talked about that vision of promised land. They killed him the next day. They killed him right away because they don't want you to know, have a vision. People that have a vision perish. So that's what was going on here. So once they see false Israel going down, they can't afford to have us have a vision because we might unite on that vision. They attack all blacks. That's this right here. So that's what's talking about flee. We see Jerusalem surrounded by armies because they're under siege. See? This is the Nation of Islam. This is Christian blacks. This is Nation of Islam. Suleiman comes in just before the attack. He comes just before the attack. Well, they actually come to him, but he's united with NOI just before the attack, right? And then they attack. Okay? Because false is about to go down. And false is going. That's what it's about, brothers and sisters. This is going to be witnessed in a few more days. You're going to witness this year, no doubt about it. But you're going to witness, as soon as that war starts, this was going to happen. Everything's going to change. But it's up to Master Muhammad to pull the trigger. Hope you understand that. Okay? And that's what say flee. You're in the attack, say flee to the mountains. See? So these are also called mountains. They're called winds, they're called serpents, called mountains. Right? That's when all blacks come together. And then we separate the demons out from amongst us. That's what it says Moses went to Aaron's camp, Farrakhan's camp, temple, and separated those with the Lord, Mr. Covenant, from those that wasn't, and he killed all the ones that was left. And Aaron was left because he was, right? Aaron was left. And I think, let me say this, make sure you, right? And let's back up a little bit more. So you make sure you get this, brothers and sisters, because you don't know what the golden calf is. You're guessing. And your key explains everything. I explained to you right here. See? This is represents original the Asian nation. The top part is the middle part of that's the Arabs. It's also called the kiss. This is the calf. Okay? So the golden calf, Sunniism. And Farrakhan will have you, Aaron, worship the golden calf. Okay? So let's move on, brothers and sisters. Now we get back to that harangue that we got from Farrakhan. Now let's break that down and see what we get with it. Remember, this is going to happen in a few days, brothers and sisters. That war is right on the horizon. In fact, abomination desolation is going on right before your eyes. They won't call it. Look up abomination desolation. The root cause of abominable means abomination. Abomination causes desolation, right? Abominable. It means the uprising was put down with cruel force, with great cruelty. The uprising was put down with great cruelty. Is that a coincidence? That's the word they use for abominable. That's exactly what's happening there. And it's happening around in Jerusalem. Who controls Jerusalem? Not the Arabs. That's the capital of Jerusalem. It says, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, know it's destruction. Its destruction is not. It means, so how you go wrong with that one? That means they're going to be destroyed. Anyway, let's move on. Okay. Now, that thing you got from Farrakhan is not right. This is what he says. First he says, out of his own mouth now, Elijah said he would be his, when he's on the world stage, right? Like, he'd be his worst hypocrite. See, you know, Farrakhan is probably the, how would you call it? He's like, he's undercover, but he's telling everybody I'm undercover. I mean, 'cause he's the most obvious liar I've ever seen. So why are you stuck with him? Because of honesty? He says, Elijah said he'd be his worst hypocrite. That should stop your cold right there. He said it out of his own mouth. Out of his own mouth. Then he tells you later on that Elijah is the most perfect man he ever met, and nothing, he said, should be changed. Nothing. Yeah, he changed all of it. He's not representing Elijah. How many changed all? He said, you shouldn't change one thing. I'll play that part again, right? Nothing. Zero. Let me hold on a second, bro. Let me see if I do that. Maybe I'll do that one again. Just give me a second here. It's amazing. It's amazing. What is that? What? Okay. Well, how did I miss all this? Somebody's in my system, bro. That's all I can tell you. Because he missed a whole lot of stuff here. Yep. I was wondering how it jumped down this so fast. How in the world did that happen? Yep, that's what happened. How could the populace miss all of this? How the hell did that happen? Yeah, my presentation, but I don't have control of them anymore. Because it missed a lot of stuff. I was wondering how they got this so fast. Am I asleep or something? It's amazing. How did I get down there like that so fast? Just missed all of this? Okay, I don't know what happened. Let me just go ahead and maybe I should have started over again. This is amazing. It's amazing. Okay, Because this didn't play right either. I might just sit and start over again, but I don't know what happened here. I have no idea. Oh, boy, I tell you. I have no idea how it happened. Yep. Somebody controlled my video. Unless I just got amnesia. Unbelievable. Okay. What I'm going to do here, okay. Yeah, that's right. What happened? Okay.
Not my word, not your word, his word. Now listen, that cause, I want all the world during that cause, and correct, but he was right.
Yeah, my video is it's out of control, brothers and sisters. Somebody's in there. This didn't play nothing like I had it. Nothing like I had it. Well, I sequenced and everything. I don't know how that happened. So somebody's in it, controlling my presentation. Okay, I said talk about this. Unless I miss nose. That's Apocalypse. Farrakhan. Mm-hmm. So what is? How did I miss all this? Okay, I want to do a little backtrack here, brothers and sisters. First, let me do this part here. Sequence. This didn't play as it was supposed to play, and see if it does it again. See if it does it again before I comment. Unbelievable. They're doing everything to stop this message, brothers and sisters. I don't know how they, I'm technical, but I don't know how they did that one. Unless I got amnesia. Mm-mm-mm. Unbelievable.
He's getting the fame so that when he turns hypocrite on you, the whole world will see him.
Okay, bro, so I think I'm going to have to stop this and start over again. It's out of control. It's out of control. Simple as that. Not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Never just problem before. It's all right. They can't win. They're trying. Can't blame for trying. Okay, so let's try it again. See what happens. And back up here. Okay. I'll play it again, but let me just speak to it. I just have to stop it. I'm going to play it again like it's supposed to play, what he's talking about like being the worst hypocrite. Now he's telling you, Elijah said he'd be his worst hypocrite during this time. Right? He says Elijah, and then he talks about, see the other part, I took that part out. I just wanted to show the part about the hypocrite, but because I wanted to keep this short. But since we played anyway, he's saying about the people went crazy. See, he was part of that. He says Elijah Muhammad put him in charge. He said that. So how did Wallace get it? So they knew it while I was there. So he said, Wallace was permanently exiled because he was against his father. It wasn't a close call. Everybody exactly knew that Wallace was against his father. He actually put articles in what do you call it, the Chicago Defender, calling his father liars and all kind of stuff. He's playing that trick about, he said white man's the devil. So he said Farrakhan, Wallace is, Master Muhammad is white. See, so let me clear that up. Now I was saying for a while that Elijah Muhammad never told him that. I have to retract that. He did tell him that. Don't call white people devils. And the reason why I did it, because I said that was my error, because it came to my attention after that's what Malcolm was doing. And Wallace, I was there. Malcolm, the lesson says the Caucasian white man is the devil. Okay. I'm getting some messages about my YouTube. Maybe that's what the problem is. Hold on. Okay, what I'm going to do right now, brothers, I'm just going to stop this and start back over in about half an hour. Because I got a lot of problems here, and this is not working right. Assalamu alaikum.